I'm going to try so hard to be efficient today. It's not going to happen.
We are so sophisticated now. This is your safe space. This is your home.
Oh, boy.
I know.
Wow, we both just sniffed right at the same time, like two cokeheads. Why do people post pictures of themselves crying on the internet?
I don't know. I don't get that. It's just like...
I like the ones that are like, just empowering. Mental health is important. I'm like, yeah, it is important, but we don't need to post on the internet. You can feel it yourself. Pretty sure I'm a really ugly crier, but I happen to be standing near a mirror and you're like, oh, that'll scare the feelings right out of you. God, I can't lift up my arms because I have an old lady color bra on. And
that was my chair, not me farting.
That would have been a really, very squeaky fart. And an impressively squeaky fart. You ate one bean. I had one bean today. I just remember touching thighs. Touching thighs. Why is it so squeaky? I'm like jamming my hand into it really aggressively. It's my pee-pee pad, but it's
right.
Yeah. I'm not trained yet. I'm not housebroken.
Oh! There goes the light.
Welcome to Paranormal Spirit. Let me just get my stoma ready to tell this story. I'm sweaty and ready.
All right. Do you want to go first, or do you want you want to go first? Welcome back. Here we are.
I'm 38 years old, sitting on a hand-me-down couch, wiping my tears with my Coors towel. Well, let's rehearse how we hold our beverages. Is this good? Do we like it here or here? Or here? Or here?
Hey there, booze buddies. Welcome back to Paranormal Spirits, where we share a drink, we tell you a spooky story, and then we rip it apart because booze always shows the truth. And as always, we will be playing Emily's drinking game.
Emily's drinking game. Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
Where every time we screw up a word or phrase, we take a drink. So grab a drink and play along with us. Hey there, Caitlin.
Hey there, Lynn. How are you today?
Super. How are you?
I'm just glad to be back in action.
I know. It's been a while, right? Been a hot minute.
It has been a moment. Because we're coming back from a long time off, I figured we should retell a story we already told. So let's do that. We wanted to kind of touch base. We told the story of Bill Vaile not too long ago, and a lot of you guys seemed to like it. So we decided that we would kind of go over it again and kind of talk about it a little bit differently and a little bit cooler. Probably not. Okay, kids, gather round while I tell you the tale of Bill Vaile. And I did not mean to Dr. Seuss that, I swear to God. So Bill was a NASA robotics engineer, and he did that for about 15 years or so. And Bill got divorced in 2002, I think it was. And he decided to leave his really amazing job working for NASA, which is every kid's dream, and go to Arlington, Texas, and work for his brother at his brother's water purification company.
I still don't get that one.
I don't get it either. It's really weird. But I guess when you're redoing your life, sometimes you just got to redo your life.
He was like, I need a fresh start. I need water. Water is going to purify and cleanse.
He needs to cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Bill moves to Texas, and he's in Tejas, and he's out there, and he's like doing his thing, working for his brother. And I guess what his job was he did demos of like what the installation was and like the whole process. So he would go to people's houses. Bill was a new guy. So on a Saturday, Bill takes an appointment to go, do his thing, do the whole water for pure, water purification song and dance. And the woman that made the appointment was very specific about the time. So Bill shows up right on time, not a minute before, not a minute late. Door's a little cracked. Hears a lot of yelling, right? So he's like, what the hell's going on in here? And instead of just leaving like a normal person would, if you like showed up to a door, he looks in because he's Bill Vaile, apparently very nosy, NASA former robotics engineer.
Right. Well, that's the thing. He's like, I went from a NASA robotics engineer to water. I better get some drama at least. The very least.
We know how engineers love the drama.
Absolutely.
So then Bill takes a peeky, a little looky-loo at what's going on in the house. And then he sees this woman standing over 3 men who are kneeling on the ground, and, you know, every woman's dream. And she's kind of circling them, holding a book, yelling, screaming, chanting, like doing all this stuff. And Bill's like, what the hell? And he's living his little voyeur life because he doesn't leave. He just keeps looking. And then she, you know, before he leaves, she makes direct eye contact with him and just does a little point.
Ooh.
Like, I'm coming for you. Bill goes, nope. And he gets out of there. He leaves and he basically goes home and almost immediately starts experiencing really bizarre things in his household. The first thing that he saw, he was like sitting, having his like little, you know, dinner or whatever. And he saw something run through a room next to him, like out of the corner of his eye. Right? Couldn't find it, thought it was a rat or something. So he went looking, couldn't find it. Later that night, Bill was doing a little snooze and he was awoken by his bed shaking violently. Again, every girl's dream.
I was just going to say, the lady is back.
Pointing. It's just the lady at the bottom of the bed going,
right.
I'm coming for you, Bill.
You, Bill.
So he phones a friend, you know, he's a little nervous. And the phone call is interrupted with a lot of static. And again, on the call, he hears a lot of chanting and like things that he can't really make out. And oh wait, that wasn't a friend. Doesn't matter. Facts don't matter. And we did talk about this in our first video, and I'm going to talk about it again now because it's my favorite. Is he was hiding under his covers like a grown man should. And he saw a hand come up on like out from the bottom of the bed and was like and it grabbed his leg. No. So that was the first night after he saw Lady in the Chance. Sometimes you're gonna make yourself laugh. I gotta professionally scroll up in my notes. So the strangeness continues. Bill is sitting there. I don't know if it's the same night or if it's a different night because again, details don't matter to me anymore. And all the lights go out in the house and he goes to get a flashlight and he checks the closet and for this flashlight, and then I guess some stuff starts rumbling around on one of the shelves in the flashlight.
Oh, did you mess up? I was just taking a drink.
It was an appropriately timed drink. I said so things are rumbling around in the closet. He can't get his flashlight. So Bill is like super logical. He doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. But he calls his brother. He doesn't really tell his brother what's going on. He has his brother come over. And Bill's like, something terrible happened to me in this closet. Yo, bro, go in this closet right now. Go check it out and tell me what's up. And his brother goes in the closet and he knows that Bill's all stressed out. But his brother literally feels somebody like things hitting him in the legs. Just little karate chops. Ghosty chops in the... Ghost chops. Yeah. And his brother decides he's not going to say anything about it. He's going to just let Bill continue thinking he's delusional because he doesn't want to stress him out anymore. Then Bill decides to have his brother and his sister-in-law over, and then they all witness the same sort of creature that Bill saw previously, like running through, that he thought was a rat, that was no longer a rat. They called it bipedal creature. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it walks on 2 feet.
Can we not make things more difficult than they
I know, right? Like,
so they all saw a 2-legger just walking around. So it was not a rat anymore.
Right.
They couldn't find it. They looked for it. They did the whole thing. Bill decides, I'm going to call a paranormal investigator because why not? And he calls a paranormal investigator. The crew comes over. They set up all the shenanigans and they're trying to taunt it because that's what paranormal investigators do. I want to do that. You just tease them about their childhood insecurities. They're taunting this mofo. They're hanging out in Bill's bedroom because that's where all the action is. No, but seriously, that's where a lot of the action was happening. And during that time period, they got some voices, and they also got they had laser grids set up, and one of the laser grids was knocked off. When the investigators left, they were like, Bill, bro, probably shouldn't live here anymore. Whatever is here is pretty rough. And Bill was like, yeah, cool. Thanks for the advice. I'm going to stay. So because he just didn't want to sell it. He was like a nice guy, I guess. But it turns out this is a new edition. So I learned a little bit more that after they left, like literally the night after they left, Bill had some more crazy experience. Like one really big crazy experience happened.
Well, yeah, they riled up the ghost or whatever.
Yeah, they got him all riled up and just let him go. That's a tease.
It is.
That's a ghost tease. What's the equivalent of ghost blue balls?
I was just trying to think of that.
No, that's racist. I was going to say white balls, but that's racist. Transparent balls? Transparency? Ectoplasm?
Ectoballs.
Ectoballs. Yeah. I love my balls like I love my ghosts. Gloopy.
Yep.
So, Bill was scared because he was just, a little nervous, as one would be after, you piss off a ghost or whatever the hell is in your house. And he had a lot of music on, and he had the lights all on because he slept with the lights on regularly because of how scared he was to be in this house that he refused to leave. And out of nowhere, Bill hears this sound. It is so loud. It is a loud crashing sound, and he like a truck had just driven into his house. So he jumps up and he runs outside to go assess the damage because the truck had run into his house. Nothing. No truck, no damage, no nothing. Everything is normal outside. So he's like, what the hell? And he goes back in the house, and when he walks back into the house, he hears the same sound again in his dining room. So he's like, what the hell? And he goes into the bed. Nope. He goes into the dining room, and same thing. Nothing, no damage, nothing is happening. Everything is normal. And then he hears the car alarm goes off outside. Like his car alarm is going off. And he's like, what the hell? Nothing again. He checks it, whatever. So now he's pissed, and he's just like annoyed, right? He's like mad. He doesn't want to deal with it anymore. So he starts doing the thing, the I know what you did last summer thing, where he's like, what do you want from me? What are you waiting for? So after, doing the show yourself and what are you waiting for and all of this, he hears the sound again, that really loud banging sound coming from his bedroom. So he runs into the bedroom, and this time the sounds don't stop. They just start getting louder and louder, to the point where Bill literally is like crunched up on the ground, covering his ears for a really long time because it is just so freaking loud.
Why not just leave the room?
I don't know, scared?
I'm just saying. I wasn't there. I'm just saying. Next time, Bill, just walk out of the room.
I know. You would think that, and I would think that, but I'm also sure that I would curl up and put my hands over my ears.
I would be yelling at it.
You would. You're an instigator. I'm a sound sensitive kind of gal. I'm sound sensitive, so I just don't like it. I'm like, oh.
No, I don't either. That's why I'd be yelling. I'd be like, listen here, you stupid ghost.
Yeah, that's what you would say. That's exactly what you would say. Me too. I would say, excuse me, you're being rude. So loud. I'm trying to sleep here. So the noise stops, and finally, and Bill's like, oh, thank God I can get into my bed and sleep peacefully. I don't know who could sleep peacefully after that. But he gets into his bed and he decides to try and sleep. And he's laying there, and out of nowhere, he sees a 6-foot tall figure come out of the bottom of his bed.
Yeah.
And it stands near the foot of his bed, and it leans, and then it doesn't lean. It doesn't lean, Lynn. It crawls onto his bed, all the way on top of him until its face is in Bill's face. Okay? And then it gives him a kiss on his forehead, and it says, good night, Bill.
Stop it.
Good night, Bill. And tucks him in, and that's the end of the story. it leans in his face, is right in his face, and they do an eye contact stuff. They're just looking at each other.
Did it have eyes?
It has eyes, and then it opens its mouth, and it has one huge tooth. Just one big old tooth.
You're joking again.
No, I'm dead serious. I'm here, Bill. Ah. And then it grunts loudly and it disappears. So let's relive this moment.
It was a ghost that had to fart, basically.
It went all the way up into his bed, and it gets all the way in his face, and it eye to eye, and then it goes, and then leaves.
And then it just goes away.
Squiggles back, da 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 da, bye, and then it leaves. It's so good. Why one grunt? This thing is funny. I want to be friends with this thing because it sounds like it's just having itself a good time. It's like, you guys, watch this.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna crawl and I'm gonna see how close I can get to his face. It was described as a huge tooth. I don't know why it's jutting out this way in my brain, but
now is it square or pointed? Because in my brain, it's squared like jack-o'-lantern tooth.
oh, mine was pointy. I pictured one big point.
Interesting. I mean, either is weird.
Yeah.
What can you do with one tooth? Like scoop?
The next morning, Bill woke up with scratches on his chest and back from the tooth.
From the tooth?
After this, he started to wake up with scratches pretty regularly, and he started waking up with scratches and bruises and all of that stuff really regularly, and things were starting to be thrown on top of him by something that was invisible. So he started to get like stuff thrown on it. So Bill he never felt alone in the house. He always felt like somebody was with him, and it was One Tooth Jones was just hanging around with Bill all the time. In his invisibility cloak. He never felt alone. He constantly saw figures and shadows and all sorts of stuff. And finally, Bill tried to have the house exorcised like multiple times, and nothing ever worked. And he still lives there, and he just doesn't want to sell it and doesn't want to do anything. And this is his theory, that the woman who was doing the obla-dees, obla-das over the boys at that house was doing a triple exorcism, and he was the vessel that she like expelled the demon into. Buy two get one free exorcisms. But guess what? Our friend Bill wrote a book. I'm gonna buy it because I want to read it. It's called Satanic Warfare: Tactics of the Demonic, Lessons Learned. And it's Bill and a couple other co-authors. And I found this by stalking Reddit, where Bill actively comments on things. Somebody like wrote something and they're like, this sounds untrue. And Bill was like, I beg to differ. Google my name. No, he didn't say at all. He was actually very polite. But he was like, if you Google my name, I wrote a book because he was tired of people telling his story incorrectly.
He's tired of us?
Yeah, I definitely butchered this story twice. Not once, but twice. So you're welcome, Bill. You're welcome for that. The book money. So yeah, that's the summary / new edition of the Bill Vaile story. Because I know we had just talking about poltergeists and ghosts, and we touch a little bit on demons here and there. So I'm curious to know what you think it was that was given the Bill.
Oh, almost.
I know. Given Bill again? Bill? Bill. The old one-tooth haunting. What do you think? Do you think it was a haunting? Do you think it was a ghost? Do you think it was real at all? Do you think it was a poltergeist?
I don't know. Like, he doesn't, other than kind of the phenomena, right? Like, as far as I know from what I've read, I don't think Bill really exhibits any psychological symptoms that would lead you to believe that he's psychotic or having hallucinations, delusions of some kind. I don't know Bill's mental health history, but like everything I've read, there hasn't been any mention of that. And usually if you've gotten to that point, there would be something, right? Somebody would go to something like, Bill's acting a little weird.
Yeah, right? Bill's crazy showing. Yeah.
I think what I found really interesting, my theory, when you said, after the one tooth, Toothy McGee was showing up, and then he had like scratches and bruises. To me, I'm wondering, is it this little whatever, this entity trying to bite and like scratching, like bruising, right? And then getting so frustrated that he's just like, Bill Vaile! And like throwing a tissue box. Like, take that, Bill! Maybe that's why, was it this entity getting frustrated for some reason? And like, has he ever seen it again? Do we know?
So it's hard for me. I mean, I did minimal research yet again, ×2. Actually, I found a couple of podcasts that I do want to kind of check out that talk to him post. So like more recently. So I do, and I am going to read the book. If it has any more information, we can do a little Bill update, a update.
I think there's something going on. I mean, I do agree with Bill that if he did go and see this woman doing her, buy two, get one free exorcism type situation, and he walked in and she's like, yo, bibbidi bibbidi boo, then maybe
it was a fairy godmother.
It's not bibbidi bobbidi boo, it's hubbidi bubbidi boo. That's the exorcism form. That's the exorcist fairy. Follow me here. It sounds like he might not be wrong in that maybe she transferred whatever it was. If this, let's just assume that all of this stuff truly is happening and that like did happen, then, maybe that is the case. And I don't know. It's really, really interesting. The one tooth, though. The one tooth is getting me. Like,
I'm obsessed with the one tooth. I'm also obsessed with the face-to-face interaction. Like,
that's not completely uncommon, but the one tooth is weird.
Imagine, is face-to-face really? That's not uncommon. I'm not interested. I don't want that.
It's not. I mean, like people talk about having, something get in their face. That's not like super uncommon. Now, if there was something in my face and all of a sudden it pulled out one giant tooth, I would probably laugh. I will be honest.
Would you try and touch the tooth? I feel like I would try and touch the tooth. I want to touch it.
I'd just be like, what is that? Like, like how much can we really get done with that? That would be me.
So how big is huge? Because if it was sharp and it was huge,
right? You can get you. But how is it getting the food off of whatever it's like?
Why does it have to eat
this one tooth? It's gonna have to use its hands.
Why does it have to eat it? Why can't it just impale things? Why is it? Who says it's hungry?
Well, it has a tooth.
Do they eat?
I'm not sure what's happening.
I don't think it was a demon. I'm gonna vote demon off the list.
It's a weird one if it is a demon. Maybe it's just like a human spirit that's like, I'm gonna find something really scary, but not a bright human ghost, right? Like, I'm really scared. I'm gonna be all dark and black, and I'm gonna crawl up on his bed, and I'm gonna have this giant tooth.
I'm gonna get real close. Just one tooth. That's it.
In my
just
mind,
one tooth.
It was like this giant, like face-sized tooth.
He has to like pull his lips around it to get it out. I need a dentist. Something's wrong. Do demons attach to like homes and not people, or do they only attach? They do.
Yeah, they can. They can attach to locations.
Would it also mess with his like brother and all of them if it was attached to Bill?
It could. I mean, if it's in the house, it certainly could, especially if they're going looking for it. Why not? Wouldn't you? If you were a demon and people were like, yo, demon man with the one tooth.
I'm a human and I would mess with him. Mm-hmm. A little bipedal solo tooth.
Right.
Singular.
2 foot, 1 tooth type demon situation.
2 feet, 1 teat. I want 2 feet, 1 teat on a t-shirt.
That's our merchandise. Our first like merchandise.
I don't think it's a regular ghost. I did read a little bit that there was like something somewhere that said it might have been like an imp-ish creature. But imps are small, typically. So
that's what I've usually heard. They're small. So if it's some sort of weird, like interdimensional being that like needs to open the interdimensional door with its tooth.
It comes from the the dimension of 2 feet 20. I'm dying. Hold on, let me get my beer towel.
I don't know what it is. I keep wanting to say it's a ghost, but I keep thinking maybe it's a demon.
I think it's more of a demon or a poltergeist-ish sort of thing, because it definitely is not like gentle. It's doing things.
I mean, it's throwing things around, but demons can do that too, not just poltergeists, and ghosts can do it too. So you were the one that like extensively researched it. So what was your like opinion? What is your scholastic opinion?
It feels, in the beginning, it feels poltergeisty to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the beginning, it feels poltergeisty, but then we get more into it and it feels a little bit more demony. So in between them. Yeah. So it could be one, could be the other. Let me read the book.
Suppose, like, if we believe that the poltergeist phenomena is, you know, like human initiated or human derived from, brought about. Trying to sound smart, but it's not working. Okay, so maybe Bill had just like untapped psychic powers.
What if something happened to Bill at NASA?
Yes. Let's say it is a poltergeist, right? If you go along the theory of that, you know, a poltergeist comes from a living agent, it is possible over time, if this thing is fed enough, and if Bill is like kind of like, what's going on, and freaking out and getting exorcists come in and brothers and sisters and like on Reddit, he's feeding this, right? He's sending all kind of energy out there.
Yeah.
So it's possible that maybe this thing has manifested into an actual entity. It has like gathered enough energy that now it's this entity with a giant tooth. Maybe it is a poltergeist that has now become an entity in and of itself. And like that, you would see scratches and bruises and things thrown around. Like all that would be consistent with poltergeist. So I think if it were a demon, it would have probably, I would say, because this has been years, right? Like
long time. Well, it was like 2002 when he first moved to Texas. So
yeah, so we're talking like 20 years. I would think that it would have progressed more.
I'm not sure I understand.
Well, there you have it.
Siri says
Not
no.
sure.
All right. Well, that's it. Tell us what you think. Ghost? Just a weird one-tooth guy hanging out?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's the crappy story of Bill Vaile Part 2. Also known as the same story told differently. If you like what you saw, take your one tooth and use it to press the like, subscribe, and ring that bell button. I don't know what's happening on the internet anymore. They may have changed the interface, but I don't know. If you don't like what you saw, you're probably right. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time for more drunken adventures with 2 fully toothed whores. Goodbye. Get up.
Goodbye.